Everyone says Lego 31120 is the perfect medieval castle. But to me, it just wasn't evil enough. What actually happens if you take 3 of these sets, tear them down to the very last brick, and rebuild them from scratch? Hey guys, I'm Haemo. Welcome to my ultimate MOC, the Skeleton Army's Death Fortress. Today, I'm taking you on a deep dive into the details of this massive creation, built with over 4,000 pieces and packed with countless hidden mechanisms and dark secrets. Squeezing every single piece out of 31,120 sets was an absolute wild ride. That's a total of 4,266 bricks, and every single one used comes strictly from the sets. To keep the build from turning into an absolute nightmare, I even broke the entire structure down into 12 separate modular instruction books. Yep, a whopping 12. You can build it section by section, just like assembling a modular building. Perched on the edge of a raging cliff stands the Death Fortress, guarded by the merciless skeleton army. Countless human adventurers have thrown themselves at its gates, some trying to cross the roaring waterfall from the front, others scaling the walls from the sheer cliffs at the back. They risk being smashed to pieces, all for a single legend, the ultimate artifact capable of vanquishing all evil, the Holy Sword. But this fortress is nothing more than a meticulously crafted mousetrap. See that trap tower on the left, draped in the banners of defeated heroes? The moment you think you've found a blind spot and push open the secret door, deadly spiked flails and lightning strikes will welcome you. Even if you miraculously survive, that escape window seemingly leading to the main keep is a beautifully disguised dungeon trap. Once you call your teammates inside, the iron gates will slam shut in a flash, trapping you all like rats. Meanwhile, the low defense tower on the right looks completely unguarded, but the moment you grab the vines to climb, a scout's arrow will pierce you ruthlessly from a blind angle. Yet, the deepest despair is still hidden in the depths of the main keep. The magnificent birdcage beam and the 4 heavy chains atop the ceiling tower are actually a facade meant to deceive the entire world. There is no holy sword here. There is only a bottomless magic extraction chamber. The skeleton guards feed the slaves fruits and milk not out of mercy, but to prolong the lifespan of these living batteries. As the humans' magic is continuously drained and funneled to a distant Lich's altar, the true conspiracy is finally unveiled. They are resurrecting an ancient god, the 2-headed skeleton king, Haemo. This is not a battle for justice, it is the Grim Reaper's harvest season. The more humans attack, the more magic fuels the machine. And those comrades who perish in utter despair will eventually shed their flesh, turn into fresh skeletal frames, and rise to join this never-falling Death Fortress. Design-wise, the Death Fortress is divided into 4 core areas: the altar, the contraption tower, the archer tower, and the main citadel. To maximize both the building experience and playability, the entire structure can be broken down into 12 individual modular sections. Of course, a flagship castle needs a soul. That's why I've included 4 distinct minifigure factions: the Undead Skeleton Army, the Tragic Captives, and the castle's own ranged and melee forces. Now, let's look inside and explore the ingenious details of each section. First up, let's look at the skeleton army guarding the fortress. They've got a clear division of labor here. This one is the maintenance guard responsible for patching up the castle walls. Next is the melee infantry, and as you can see, he was lucky enough to keep his fabulous hair even after resurrection. And the last one is the archer. In truth, they were all humans who were captured in battle and died in despair inside the fortress. Once their flesh rots away and nothing but bones remain, their souls are reanimated by the Lich King's dark magic, turning them into restless, tireless soldiers. Next up are the captives trapped in the dark dungeons. To the Lich King, these living souls serve only 2 purposes. First, their agonizing screams are used as bait to lure outside human armies into the fortress's deadly traps. And second, they are simply waiting to die in pure terror, ready to be recruited straight into the skeleton ranks as fresh soldiers. finally, let's introduce the elite human guard force. The ranged unit consists of 2 stone-cold sharpshooters and a captain armed with a sword and shield who commands them. Holding the line is the melee unit, a squad of pure spear-wielding vanguards. If you're wondering who's the boss around here, look right over there. The guy wearing the heaviest armor and holding the longest, coolest spear is their melee captain. This altar is situated in a secluded location far from the Death Fortress, allowing the Lich to remotely control the skeleton army from a safe distance. At the center of the altar lies a spinal bone of Haemo. The Lich channels the magic drained from humans directly into this bone to reshape and resurrect the ancient Skeleton King. By the way, if you happen to have the Szass Tam minifigure from LEGO CMF Series 71047, he is the absolute perfect fit to play the role of this Lich. At first glance, the Archer's Tower looks like the easiest weakness to exploit in the entire Dark Fortress, since its walls are relatively low. But don't be fooled. The lush vines growing outside are actually a deadly trap masterminded by the Lich himself. Just as the human army thinks they've found a shortcut and eagerly climbs up, hidden hatches at the top will fling open, and the skeleton archers will rain down arrows from above. Even if the humans manage to breach the platform using sheer numbers, the tower is fully stocked with melee weapons for the skeletons to switch to. Oh, and see those milk bottles on the table? That's the skeleton's ultimate healing potion. After all, when you're nothing but bones, keeping up with your calcium intake to strengthen your skeleton body is just common sense. Swing open the back of the tower, and you'll reveal the hidden interior of the first floor. Inside, there's a heavy stash of food provisions and a treasure chest. Interestingly, the food isn't for the undead, it's just enough to keep the human captives alive. As for the gold and jewels in the chest, that's another sinister bait to lure the human army into attacking. And finally, defenders can use these structural gaps in the fortress walls to drop massive boulders directly onto the heads of anyone standing below. The contraption tower, as the name suggests, is riddled with deadly traps, and its sole purpose is to capture humans alive. Its towering structure also grants defenders the perfect vantage point to oversee the battlefield and track every single human movement. Moving to the base of the tower, the exterior is overgrown with lush plants bearing fresh fruit. But don't be fooled, this fruit is nothing but a desperate food source for the human captives. Hidden in the shadows below, you'll find a tattered human army flag, hinting at a brutal battle fought here. Looking up, this chamber is actually a cleverly disguised miniature dungeon. Its sinister purpose? To capture any foolish humans who attempt to infiltrate through the upper gap, only to step on a trap and plunge right into the cell. Once the trapped human wakes up, he'll naturally spot a stone staircase leading up to the main keep, and an openable window right behind him. This is where the psychological trap begins. Thinking he found a way out, the captive will throw open the window to signal his allies, luring more human soldiers inside. However, this is exactly what the Lich anticipated. The moment the human reinforcements rush in, the mechanism triggers, the heavy gate at the top of the stairs slams down with a thud, and the back window snaps shut instantly. A perfect entrapment. Once inside, no one escapes alive. However, the Lich's psychological game is far from over. To make this entrapment believable, the contraption tower is retrofitted with actual lethal defenses. First, a heavy swinging mace will drop without warning, crushing anyone who tries to force their way in. Even if a human soldier possesses godlike reflexes, dodging the mace and the pitfall traps to make it inside, they still won't survive the lightning trap hidden within. High-voltage arcane electricity will discharge instantly, shocking the human vanguard into absolute oblivion. Pivoting to the exterior, the walls are decorated with rows of various banners. Make no mistake, these aren't just ornaments, these are the flags of failed human armies, hung proud by the skeleton guards as trophies of war. Moving up, we reach the control room, the nerve center responsible for triggering every single trap in this tower. Right outside, a telescope is mounted to give defenders a perfect view to track human troop movements from miles away. Finally, we have the towering sniper's fire. Its narrow arrow slits allow skeleton archers to rain down long-range, lethal sniper fire from complete safety. Perched at the very peak of the tower is the fortress's energy hub, the arcane transceiver. This structure plays a crucial, dual role. On one hand, it channels the harvested human magic from the main citadel straight back to the Lich King at the shrine. On the other hand, it receives the Lich's dark magic from afar to remotely control the fortress's various defenses or command the skeleton soldiers. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate fusion of technology and dark magic. Finally, we have the toughest core to breach, the main citadel. It features the most bizarre design. The dungeon is put right out in the open for everyone to see. This is precisely the Lich King's cunning scheme, deliberately allowing the captives to cry for help, all to lure more foolish humans straight into his trap. The citadel gates are designed to be exceptionally massive and heavily fortified. Beyond making it nearly impossible for humans to breach, their true purpose is to allow the reanimated Haemo to move in and out freely. Turning to the back of the fortress, you'll find equally thick defensive walls, scarred with the visible battle damage of past wars. The upper dungeon is also protected by a ring of low parapets. If any human forces attempt to scale the walls, defenders can drop boulders through the machicolations, delivering a crushing blow right to their heads. At the very crest of the main keep stands the mysterious spire of the sealed sword. Whenever it begins to harvest magic, the entire structure starts to rotate. At this moment, the emeralds at the base will violently drain the human magic from the dungeon, channeling it upward into the rubies at the top. From there, the rubies blast the energy directly to the arcane transceiver, which finally beams it across space to the Lich's shrine. As for the legendary holy sword resting inside, it's nothing but a piece of rusted scrap metal, the ultimate bait to lure foolish humans to their doom. Stepping inside the main citadel's dungeon, there is only a single cold doorway for entry, while the other three sides are completely sealed off by iron bars. The interior is utterly empty, save for a lone wooden bucket on the floor used for food. To open the citadel gates, you must first unlock the two latches above before the door can be lowered. Once dropped, the first thing you'll see is a small altar. By removing the upper dungeon section, you will reveal Haemo lying asleep right inside. The ultimate secret of this death fortress is the ancient skull god, Haemo. Long ago, in a catastrophic war, he suffered a crushing defeat and perished. Now, the cunning Lich King has acquired his spinal cord, orchestrating this entire fortress to snare humans and harvest their magic to resurrect him. Look closely at his unique, two-headed skeleton form. Eerie soulfires are already erupting from his skulls, meaning his consciousness has long since awakened. Right now, he is absorbing power, simply waiting for his body to fully regenerate, ready to curse this world once again. And that wraps up all the dark secrets of this death fortress. If you spotted any other details I missed, well, congratulations on finding the hidden Easter eggs. By the way, the official LEGO 31120 set doesn't actually come with a Lich minifigure, so naturally, you won't find one in the building instructions for the Skeleton Army's Death Fortress either. I specially customized and added him to fully flesh out and bring this grand fantasy world to life. I highly encourage you to find your own minifigure to match, or take my strong recommendation, go with Szass Tam from the LEGO 71047 minifigure series to act as your Lich. What do you guys think of this Death Fortress build and the setup for Haemo's resurrection? If you want to build one yourself, I've placed the link to the building instructions in the description box below, so feel free to check it out. Whenever I finish more castle and fantasy-themed LEGO creations in the future, I'll definitely update and share them with you all. So, stay tuned.